There we are. We up and running. Back in the party once again. What is going on, everybody? See who's going to join us tonight. Give you guys some time to get gathered in here. Start dropping your comments in. Let me know who is in the house, present and accounted for. Talk about a little bass fishing, a little top 5 baits for the week. Fishing's not bad right now, guys. For as hot a time as it is of the year, fishing's getting pretty good, man. There's some guys catching some really good fish. I've actually been taking some time off the water a little bit, so I have not been fishing as much here right lately as I have been. Albert Torres from Falcon Lake, we appreciate you. Matt Scotts, good to see you. Hey, the guy on the first comment, I have no idea what that says, but I appreciate you being here. Bojo, Vaughn's fishing here. Irv Gotti, needs him a 10-pounder, don't we all? Harrison Curtis, Fresno, Lee's, Colton, Deloach. Man, we got them all joining us tonight. Appreciate you guys coming to hang out with us. We're going to talk about some my top baits for the week, and of course, answer all your questions like we always do here every week on the live streams. Hey, let's just jump right into it. What do you say? It's getting to be kind of fun. A lot of different topwater baits are starting to work. This is not the size model I'm throwing, but this is just a package I have. I had a guy send me these. I think the gentleman's from Illinois. Headbanger Rowdy Buzz. RowdyBuzzLures@gmail.com. You can email that guy if you want to check these out. But the blade actually contacts the head, kind of like the old Booger Man's. Man, this buzz bait is starting to get a lot of bites for us in the morning. And that's kind of a traditional summertime thing. You can throw that all throughout the summer. All the time. It's an awesome deal. Then something else that's working really well for us in all those grass flats, it's not on yellow belly. I'm kind of heartbroken. Yellow belly has not been my frog dog this year so much. I have not been getting bit on yellow belly, but the old horny toad, Zoom horny toad, just a weedless rig Zoom horny toad, fishing that over the grass first thing in the morning. We're getting a lot of bites on that as well. If you're a tournament fisherman on Lake Fork, I know there's a big high school tournament coming up. I'm going to go on and tell you, man, that Zoom horny toad is flat out smacking them unders first thing in the morning. We are catching a bunch of 2-pound class fish on that Zoom horny toad most mornings. Then, of course, we've got the one that's been here forever. I think it's been here since, April or so. But the Smash Tech 4.5-inch hollow belly on the owner flashy swimmer hook. Man, this thing, like I said, I took some days off the water here lately, so I actually have not been on the water the last couple days. But 2 days ago, the last time I was on the water, that Smash Tech hollow belly was what won the day for us. I mean, that thing caught more fish than anything. And old dependable right here, Mr. Chatterbait. Not real particular on color on chatterbait. I think it's more of a reaction deal. Probably should be using a shad color, but I throw a lot of green pumpkin in the summer. I do throw the shad type colors, the whites as well. And then the fifth bait is one I didn't bring in with me tonight, but a walking bait, the 6th Sense Dogma, the smaller one, in the bluegill colors. I'm using that a lot. Man, if you guys want to know my favorite summertime topwater of all time, it is a smaller profile walking bait in a bluegill type color. That's it for me. So 3 of the top 5 are topwater baits. That's a lot of fun, guys. That's a lot of fun. All right, Mojo's here. Lane Seaman. Let's see. Glad to see no black eyes. That's funny. Have we gotten much rain at Fork? Well, not like crazy amounts, but, it's good to have anything in July. We're happy for every drop this time of year. There's no doubt about that. So, have I been jumped? No, I've not been jumped. I'm on live YouTube, and my kid's thinking, come here. What are you doing?
I want to ask you something.
You want to ask me something? Well, it better be a good question, because we are literally live right now. Sorry, guys. Sometimes being a dad gets in the way. What do you want to ask me?
I wanted to know if we can play that tomorrow together. That
new video game we got today?
Mm-hmm.
Of course we can.
Yay!
when I get home from work. All right, bud. Let me finish what I'm doing. Night-night. Love you. That's what happens when you're a dad. Sometimes being a dad gets in the way of what I try to do. But hey, that's all right. Never mind that. And no, I have not been jumped since the last live video, Chris. Thank you. Hashtag got your back. Appreciate that. It's not one of those deals where, yeah, dog, I got you back. Way back. And hopefully it ain't one of those. So, man, y'all start popping some questions in here. Fish Canyon Lake. Yep, I know Canyon Lake. Between San Antonio and Austin. Over 5 feet low. And even before the pre-spawn, only small fish caught. What would I suggest? Well, on Canyon Lake, it's a clear water reservoir. It's a rocky reservoir. Not a lot of shallow cover, even when it is full. But it is, you know, low. So it's definitely, all those fish are going to be offshore. Right now, down there, probably a lot of fish are going to be suspending on Canyon. Man, that's going to make it tough. You know, you can, video game those fish, drop shot your bait to them on the graph. An Alabama rig can be a big deal when they're suspended like that. Flutter spoon is a good option. Kind of counting it down to the right depth and reeling it up through them, and letting it fall back down and reeling it up through them. Those are a few suggestions, but I would think there would be a lot of suspended fish on Canyon Lake right now. I could be wrong. Shade lines are another big deal. If you can find any marinas or docks, find some shade lines. Do you look for structure and cover first, then fish when out on ledge? No, I pay attention to the bottom contours, paramount more than anything else. Whatever I find as far as cover goes is kind of secondary to me. Like, that's just bonus coverage. I'll fish a main lake point that has nothing on it versus just fishing a stand of trees on a flat piece of ground. Now, if that main lake point has trees on it, that's good. That's even better. Mojo said he was just at Canyon. He only caught one. Caught it on a glide bait, but he said he had some followers also, and they all came off dock. So there you go, the shade lines, which they will suspend under those docks. It's a suspended fish deal on a lake like that. It doesn't have a lot of those type of covers. That shallow water cover, no grass, no flooded bushes. It's going to be a lot of suspended fish in the summertime like this. Thank you, Gaylord. Appreciate that. Sorry, I'm trying to... I think I'm caught up on those. So, all right, man. Y'all keep the questions coming. See what else we can talk about. Not much. What do you suggest for a lake that's covered in pads with little offshore structure? The grass fishing is great in the spring, but the pads take over in summer. Well, I mean, the edges are going to be a big deal. Covered in pads, little offshore structure. So they're going to use the pads. So it's going to be the edges. Within the pads, find the points and the pockets, the differences. Find something that looks different within that massive field of pads. Maybe they thin out a little bit in a certain area. Maybe they're extra thick and you can punch them. You just have to kind of find the differences. And if there's any bottom contour changes that relate to the edge of those pads, that's going to be a key deal too. Josh Pickett, I'll do a quick rehash for you real quick. It was a 4.5-inch weedless swim bait, hollow belly, chatterbait, the same two that have been here forever, and then 3 topwaters, a buzz bait, a zoom horny toad, and the small walking spook bait from 6 cents, the little dogman of brim color. Smash the like button, peeps. That's right, Chris. Smash that like button. We greatly appreciate that. Hello from Southeast Georgia. Appreciate your videos. Keep it up. Would like to see you fish a muddy river and see how you approach it. Thanks again. We can do that. We can do that. It may take me a little while to get to it. I'm trying to think of a river. I don't know. We don't really have any true river fisheries right here. I'd have to go over to the Red River over there in Shreveport, which is a pretty doggone good long drive for me. Not any real true river fisheries real here close by. What ratio reel am I using with a buzzbait? Well, which one am I? I think I'm using a 6, 3-to-1. But here's the deal with the buzzbait, it really doesn't matter because you can you're visually looking at how fast you're reeling it across the top of the water, and that allows you to, it makes it easier to slow down when you need to slow down or speed up. What kind of areas am I targeting for topwater? Grass flats. Big, expansive grass flats. Same thing with the swim bait and the chatterbait. All my fishing right now is being done on big, expansive grass flats. Huge flats. Finding little subtle elevation changes. The drains, the creek channel swings, different things within that grass flat that make it stand out and they're different. And fish it, concentrating on those to kind of narrow down the search. Josh Pickett's been really working on his swim bait game. Bought a couple mag drafts. Any tips for throwing big swim baits? Man, I could give you some tips. Here's the deal though. What you need to do is search on my channel page, go back and look for the big swim bait instructional, because that thing gives you all the tips, Bubba. And just watch that thing religiously, take notes on it. I know we had Andrew Grills do one. He's phenomenal with a big swim bait way back in the day. I think I've done a couple. So there's a couple different big swim bait tip videos for fishing them on the channel. I would encourage you to look those up because that's going to give you way more better detailed instruction than I ever could here live like this. How to fish around bait ball on ledge. If you see them really tight together, do you still fish them? Well, if the bait is in a perfect ball, I don't like that, guys. Because if a bait's just swimming along in the perfect shape of a ball, nothing's chasing them, nothing's eating them, they're not scared of anything. I actually like to see that bait elongated or kind of in an odd shape. That usually means something is kind of getting after them, and that is a really good thing to do. I mean, that's a really good thing to see. Favorite shallow water square bill, where do you fish it, what line, how do you deal with cover? Well, my favorite shallow water crankbait is a Movement 80X. And it bounces off cover really good. And it runs really extremely shallow. So I can fish it over grass. If there's a little bit of a gap, I can hold my rod up, slow down, and go over the top of grass. And let it catch a little bit and rip it kind of like a trap. And then as far as the hardcover wood and brush and all that, it bounces off it so well that I just kind of reel it through there, man. It's the most weedless crankbait. It's got the hardest, craziest action. It is a one-of-a-kind shallow water crankbait, no doubt. How shallow on the grass flats? It depends on each individual one and where the grass is growing out to. Some of them I'm fishing as shallow as like 2 to 3 foot, 4 foot, and others I'm fishing as deep as 6 or 8 foot, depending on the grass edges and where they kind of scatter out at. Saw a past vid of you fishing Ray Hubbard. Yeah, we did one last year. Where would you start on this lake or a lake like this that do not have the usual East Texas cover and lots of lake points? If you have local knowledge and you can find brush piles this time of year, brush piles are a big deal this time of year. Brush piles are a huge thing. For me on Hubbard, yeah, I do happen to know from the one trip I took last year, that guy showed me some brush piles. That's where I would start. And then I would look for more. I would just try to find brush piles, or I would be fishing those boat slips that have the deeper water on them. A lot of those shade lines with the deeper water and those marinas on Hubbard are going to be a big deal in the summer. Can you explain what a thermocline, when they occur, and why they're important to know about? Thermocline, if you look on your electronics unit as you're scanning along, when you get down to a certain depth, might be 20, might be 15, might be 25, depends, each lake is different, and the weather can change the level. But you'll just see like a big fuzzy mass at the bottom of your graph. That's a thermocline. And here in East Texas, it's a dissolved oxygen content. So there's little to no oxygen below that thermocline, so fish don't like it. So wherever that line is, let's say that thermocline is forming at 18 feet. Well, I want everything that I fish to be 18 feet or higher. The fish aren't going to go down here below that thermocline in 19, 20 feet. They may go down there, but they're not going to live down there. They're not going to feel good down there. They're not going to feed down there. So what I like to do is try to find, if I got an 18-foot thermocline, I like to try to find humps, points, brush piles, road beds, whatever I'm fishing that top out at 16 feet, 17 feet, 15 feet, right above that thermocline, because that's the coolest water they can get to and still have the right oxygen content. That's kind of how the thermocline works, just in a real basic way. Best way to scan a ledge is a figure 8. And then move over here and do a figure 8. With the cone shape of your sonar, of course you got side scan and down scan now, that can help. But if you're trying to utilize sonar and down scan primarily, you got to figure 8 it to get everything. And then you move up here and figure 8 it. That's the way you're going to cover the most ground and not miss anything. When is the new Skeeter arriving? Am I going to keep the birds on them? No. I will. You know what? I don't know. Some of the new Humminbird stuff is really nice. I haven't made that decision yet. Right now, if you gun to my head, I'm going Lowrance. But I got some thinking to do on that. Hopefully, I'm going to have a new Skeeter here in about a month or so. For flipping stained or muddy water, what do you think about using high-vis yellow braid and coloring the last few feet? Don't even bother coloring it, dude. Just use it. Man, they don't care about that line, guys. It's not... Them seeing the line doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And they're not going to see it in that muddy water anyway. Now, if it's super clear water, then maybe, okay, there's something to it. But I hear people talk about that all the time. I mean, people ask me about, should I have a leader tied on? I'm like, dude, we fishing grass. That thing ain't nothing but another stem to that fish. You don't know. I mean, I'm not big on fish seeing line. I think the size of the line affects the action on the bait sometimes when you're finesse fishing, and that's why you got to go to lighter line. And I think the sound in certain situations can be a big deal if you're using braid versus fluoro. Only in certain situations, though. In that situation, man, just tie it on there and go, Bubba. What color Smash Tech 6 or 8-inch swim bait is best all around on fork? I'm ordering next week. I'll give you my two favorites are going to be the 6-inch hollow belly and the Smash Tech Convict. That's my two favorite fork swim baits, and both in light hitch. Light hitch is hands down the best day in, day out color swim bait around East Texas. Man. Meanwhile, okay. I'm doing really good. I'm keeping up with questions tonight. I normally can't do that. We're knocking them out the park tonight, Jack. Any more questions? You guys pop them in there for me. Y'all want to hear any crazy stories, anything else? Y'all just throw it in there, man. We can talk about whatever y'all want to. Did y'all hear that the Cowboys are going to sign? They're going to sign LaShawn McCoy because they found out that he can beat somebody at home? I'm just saying. Preference on a double or triple blade on buzzbait, or with or without the clacker type of trailer. I don't put a trailer on buzzbaits. Double or triple blade. I mean, yeah. I've never really fooled with those too much. I look for the single bladed buzzbaits, but I throw them around a lot of grass, so that double blade can be be a bit of a rough one in some of that heavy vegetation I throw in. So I kind of like the single blade when it comes through that grass a little better. I definitely like clackers. The ones that I'm using, the blade actually hits the head. If you look right there, you can see that blade. You actually move that arm up and down, and you can make it to where that blade will thunk, 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 it hits that head, and it's loud. Really loud. Too soon on that joke? Too soon. Too soon, bro. Impact shad is the deal for the chatterbait. Thanks for the info. You're very welcome, Randy Crabtree. And yes, the impact shad is the deal for a chatterbait trailer. It's phenomenal. See you hit T-Walk and see if you can get a deal. I didn't know that they had a deep bite on largemouth on T-Walk. I don't think they do. Maybe they do. If they do, I don't know about it. But I've actually never fished T-Walk. I need to fish it. I do need to fish T-Walk. A lot of people keep asking me, 3 nighttime baits. Yeah, 3 nighttime. I used to fish night tournaments a lot. I don't think I have one hanging up right over there. I don't. Joe Spates makes a spinnerbait called Elvis. It's a black spinnerbait with some chartreuse, mylar in the skirt, and a big old thumper blade. And it is just everything about the arm size, the vibration, the durability of it. That's the best nighttime spinnerbait is Elvis from Joe Spates at the Tackle Factory over on Highway 17. That's one. Second nighttime bait is going to be, I think to me, very obvious, a big old 10 or 12 inch worm. I actually like the Lake Fork Tackle 10 inch worm, because it has those ribs in the body help move a little more water, make a little more disturbance. I think that's the best nighttime worm to me. And then a buzzbait. You know, a buzzbait is really good at night. A big old black buzzbait with a big loud blade on it. Colton Deloach, the answer to your question right there is yes. The Impact Shad to me is the best chatterbait trailer I have personally ever thrown. I'm a really big fan. I threw that other one for a long time, and I wouldn't have changed if this one didn't work better. Shout out, Adrian. Yo, Adrian. Shout out to you, brother. Seems all your lakes have suspended fish. Any hints? Yeah. Go drink cold beer, man. Dude, I hate suspended. I'm the worst summertime suspended fish catching guy there is. But the best thing I know to tell you is Alabama rigs work really good. Flutter spoons can be really good if you count them down and just try to keep them as close to that zone they're in. You know, for those of you that are video game nerds, I guess you can video game them, look at them on your graph, and drop shot to them. I mean, that's just what the book says to try. I'm not really the guy to ask about suspended summertime fish, to be honest. Corey Travis, I hear you, bud. We're going to do our best to get you on some gigantors whenever the trip comes around, my buddy. Do I do any saltwater fishing? I haven't done any saltwater fishing in a long time, but I used to do quite a bit of it. I used to live in Beaufort, South Carolina, when I was in the Marine Corps. And the neighborhood we lived in, we had the Broad River inlet backed up to our neighborhood, had a boat ramp back there. And we used to fish in that river inlet, fish the marshlands around Beaufort a lot. It was a lot of fun. Fished, you know, growing up down closer to Houston, did some inshore fishing down there. Ricky Moore, that's funny. I hear you, brother. The good of the land says he just got off the pond. He slayed them 1/3 pounders. Hey, man, stay out of my nursery there, bud. Get out of my nursery. We trying to grow them for next year, big dog. Best way to find a productive ledge, you're on Lake Chickamauga. Okay, Tennessee River. Tennessee River. Full of ledges. Bottom content is going to be a big deal. You have to find the sweet spots in those ledges that have a bottom content change. And what that actually is going to be is a shell bed. When you're looking at your graphing those ledges, cruising down those ledges looking for stuff, look for bottom content changes. Try to find where your graph pings a harder bottom return, and then fish that with something heavy that you're dragging so that you can identify if that's a shell bed or not. Now, if it is, the fish may not be using it. Even if there's not fish there, fish it, verify it's a shell bed with whatever you're dragging, football jig, Carolina rig, whatever. Mark that shell bed, and then when the fish start using that depth zone and you get that current going on there, I'll bet you there'll be fish on it. You just got to be there when they're using it. The bottom content's going to be the big deal when you have a lake that's slap full of ledges like that, though. You got to find the bottom content changes. Is my September and October calendar almost full already? It's getting there. September is just about completely full. October is probably about a half to 2/3 full. So it's getting there. September and October is getting pretty darn full. But November, guys, November might be my favorite month of the entire year to fish Lake Fork. And November is basically wide open right now. Mojo said he downed a few 3rd pounders today. burgers, that is. That's a big old boy, and he's about 17 years old. I know he eats everything in sight. Rod for my chatterbait. 7-foot heavy is a very good rod for my chatterbait. With 6 cents, I'm actually using the 7.3 heavy. Get it right here with a chatterbait on it. Always forget that's going to be backwards. 7.3 heavy, fast action. But man, this 7.3 heavy, it's super, super light, and it's got just enough tip, just the right amount of tip to be right for a chatterbait, and it pops it out of the grass so efficiently and so easy. It's right. Where is most of the unders coming from right now? Guys, listen, I'm fishing shallow. Most people are fishing deep, and there's a lot of people catching a lot of good unders and some big fish out deep. Just because I'm not doing the deep thing doesn't mean it's not there. So if you're more comfortable deep, like you're asking where the unders are coming from, like if main lake structure is your comfort zone, Neil, Covington, by all means, fish that main lake structure because they're out there as well. Whoa. Is 6 cents going to make any chatterbaits? Seems like everyone likes their swim jig. Figured they'd already have one. They're not, just because they don't want to deal with the patent issues of Z-Man. Z-Man is a pain in the rear end for anybody that even tries to make a chatterbait of any kind. Let the duck hunter, dude, boy. Hey, look, I'm talking about I was on the biggest flock of ducks last year, the week before opening duck season. I had the biggest flocks of ducks located that I have seen since I hunted some private land in South Louisiana, Bubba. Like, it was more ducks than I've ever seen in the state of Texas in one place. And I had them pinned up, and I texted every duck hunting buddy I knew. I was like, y'all need to get right here. And they all came because the next week them ducks was gone, Jack. But yeah, I usually have a pretty good peg on where the ducks are at because of fishing on the grass. That swim jig is the bomb. The 6 cent swim jig is ridiculously good. No current in the, oh, this is my Lake Chickamauga guy. No current in the morning. Lately the bite sucks. Best way to catch schooling fish. By schooling fish, I assume you mean fish schooling on the surface. Well, I'm going to tell you a couple things I like. I like the little swim baits, like that one right there. That fast, whole body shaking action of that smash take hollow belly is extremely good. I would throw it just like this with that underspin on there. That's a tremendous schooling bait right there. The next thing that I like, it's a little bit harder to throw real far, so you got to use a spinning rod, but a fluke or impact shad. You know, the smaller one, the 5-inch. I like the weightless fluke impact shad type baits for schooling fish as well. And the third one that is like top secret, hush hush, don't tell nobody, that's really good is a jigging spoon. When you can't get bit on nothing else, they're usually keyed in on little bait fish. That's what they're schooling on. When that happens, a jigging spoon is about as good as it gets because, first of all, you can throw a jigging spoon flat out 1.5 miles. You can throw that jigging spoon so far that when those schooling fish come up ways away from you, you can get in them. And then that little jigging spoon, if you just burn it real quick, man, that thing will kind of dart around and do this as it's coming back to the boat real quick, and it looks just like those little bitty bait fish they're keyed in on, and you actually can catch schooling fish extremely well when nobody else is catching them on a jigging spoon, chunking and winding as fast as you can. Is that owner Flashy Swimmer 5-aught hook? Yes, it is, Michael Salinas. That's the hook it is. On the Smash Tech Gizzard Shad, would you use an underspin in dirty water? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The Gizzard Shad, you got to fish it real slow. That's the deal with that. You got to fish it very, very, very slow. That's why you'll see me use that a little more in spring and fall when the water's cooler. Not so much in summer when I want to. Like, I love that hollow belly in the summer because it's a fast action bait that I can move real fast. And I like baits that move faster in the summertime. You have a tournament the 21st, what would I be doing? I don't know. We'll be live that week. Let's talk about it then, really, honestly. I mean, that's the best answer I can give you, but probably not going to be much different than what we're talking about tonight. 5 keepers in the house. What's up, brother? What is my favorite summer setup? Well, the swim bait and the chatterbait probably have been my best ones. I mean, they, for me, have just been so dang consistent. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. And my setup on those, I'm throwing, on the swim bait, I'm throwing 7.5 heavy with moderate fast tip, 20-pound fluorocarbon, and a medium gear speed reel. And then on the chatterbait, I'm throwing a 7.3 heavy, 50-pound braid, and a medium gear speed reel. Justin Long, you got the right chip, buddy. You're good. Fishing in the City says he quit fork. Don't quit fork, man. What you quitting fork for? It's the greatest bass lake ever. Ever. Not the easiest, but the greatest. I get the struggle, but stick with it, bro. She will pay dividends. It's just a matter of time. 3/4 ounce football jig setup is going to be the 7.5 extra heavy 6-inch Lux rod, 20-pound fluorocarbon, 7.3 to 1 reel. That's what I throw my 3/4 ounce football jig on, or hybrid jig. I throw the big 6-inch hybrid jig. Been waiting for the punching deal in my vids. When's it going to come around? When I quit catching them on moving baits, I guess. Curious how Monticello has been doing. Well, Monticello is, I haven't been. But what I've heard is this. Of course, they opened the gates to Bob Sandlin, so the water level dropped way down. So all the grass pretty much got out of the lake because everywhere the grass was growing, the water level dropped below that. There were some people catching some really good bags of fish on Monticello, but they were basically doing it out of two spots, the bridge and the dam, just because that's all those fish had to get on, which means if you're not the first one on that sweet spot, you're out of luck, buddy. I mean, so it was very limited to how many people could fish it, be productive. The general fishing around the lake was not great, from what I understand. Do I do any night? No, I'm not doing any night trips. Oh, Friday night, yeah. So tomorrow night we will be at Lake Fork Marina at 6 p.m. doing our free seminar. Me and Mike McFarland will be there. So if you guys are around, come see us. Do I go deer hunting? I grew up deer hunting. I do not. I have not been deer hunting in a very long time. All I do is fish, 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 fish. That's it. Been seeing a lot of big, realistic swim-based jackal general. What do you think about them? Do you fish them? Yeah, I do fish them. I don't fish the jackal per se, but I do fish a lot of big, realistic glide baits at certain times. Fall being one of the main times when I'll utilize those big, big baits. How much time do I spend on a spot before moving on and fishing deep? This time of year in general, not much. Now, it all depends a lot, too, on what I see on my graph. Like, if there's fish there and they're set up right, then I'll be prone to spend a little more time trying to figure out a bite. Like, if the fish just show me that they're, like, if I see my graph and I'm like, okay, we're finna catch them, we're finna catch every one of them, then I'm going to throw different things. I'm going to experiment. I'm going to give it more time before I bail. Most of the time, though, in the summer, if they don't bite in the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but they ain't biting. Move on and find a school that's ready to go. In the summertime, you should be able to catch them pretty quick if they're set up on the graph. I haven't seen anything in ICAST, period, Michael. I haven't seen any of this stuff from ICAST. I know of some of the stuff that Sixth Sense brought up there, but I haven't seen anything. I haven't been watching any of the ICAST stuff. Do I like live bait or artificial? I've never fished live bait, bro. Never. Ever. Sold golf clubs to buy more fishing rods. I agree. I used to golf. I actually used to be in the golf business. A little something most of you probably don't know about me. You need me to show you the deep stuff on your lakes? You're horrible. What are your lakes, Five Keepers? You're late, but you made it. It's all right. Better late than never, big dog. Man, there's, holy cow, how many comments do we have tonight? It's crazy. Well, clear, deep. I don't know what that means. How to identify bass from other fish on side imaging? Mainly the way they're set up. The best thing you can do is see fish and then throw something out there that'll catch anything like a spoon or a crankbait, catch fish and see what species it is, and then remember what that species looked like, the way they were grouped up, how they were positioned on the structure, all that type of stuff can kind of clue you into what type of species it is. Buzzbait setup. Buzzbait setup. Which one am I throwing the buzzbait on? I don't have my buzzbait right in here. I think I'm throwing my buzzbait. I don't know. I can't remember. I want to say I'm throwing my buzzbait on a 7-1 medium heavy with 17-pound fluoro, which is fine on the buzzbait because you're just reeling it in on the surface. The main thing on a buzzbait, I don't want too big of a rod because you can tend to jerk that buzzbait away from them a little bit prematurely, so I like a little bit smaller rod. I have not used the Humminbird Mega Imaging. Guys, we've been on for a long time tonight. Hey, I appreciate you guys coming in here asking all the questions. You guys killed it tonight. Y'all rocked the house, man. Thank y'all for joining in. Hope you guys catch some good fish this weekend, and let me know how you did on next week. I'll see you guys next time. On Thursday night, we'll be right back here. If you're going to be in the area, Lake Fork Marina tomorrow night, free seminar, 6 p.m. And we got great videos coming up next week, so be sure you're watching those on Monday and Wednesday as well, please. And I love you guys very much. Thank y'all. Don't have the biggest audience, but I got what? The best audience. Appreciate you guys very much. We'll see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.